Hello, race fans. 20 episodes down, 21 episodes. This is the 21st episode today. Welcome. I'm glad I achieved that shout out. I'm glad I achieved that achievement. And shout out to the YouTube channel at Tyree Waldron. If you want to check out the video version of this podcast, go on over there and check that out. There's also plenty of other videos, motorsports related, and some video gaming stuff as well, obviously racing related as well. Okay. Now, of course, my latest videos and stuff is out as well. There's, a couple things that I was behind on, some videos that I recorded way before some information was released and all that kind of stuff. But definitely still check it out. And there will be, of course, updated updates and whatnot on that channel as well. So, definitely check into that. And if you want to get the latest and greatest updates on, motorsports news and anything of that nature, head on over to my Twitter at the Big Ticket 07. And of course, follow me on TikTok for some, generous insight when it comes to the motorsports world. Some quick bites, some decent questions. Like, one of my most popular ones was, your favorite, or what is the greatest rally driver, in your opinion, that kind of stuff. And giving just some quick information to some people and whatnot, and just having shared views amongst people. Definitely check me out on TikTok as well. That's also the Big Ticket. It'll all be up. It'll all be up in the vicinity over here somewhere. It's okay. It's okay. Now, going into today's episode, it's going to be a few quick bites talking about Williams' new funds. Aston. I got some Aston Martin stuff that I've been really wanting to talk about. And topics for this episode, we're sticking primarily with Formula One. Okay, and once I get, the quick bite out the way, Formula One is mainly the topic of the day. There was supposed to be some other stuff, but my time is running short. So therefore, I may not be able to do all that. So this episode is not necessarily going to be one of the longer ones. It's not. It's definitely not. But F1 is about to start. Okay, it's definitely about to start. And of course, there's an abundance of news about it. But like I said, quick bites. Romain Grosjean. This has nothing to do. Well, he is former F1 driver. So Romain Grosjean is making his IndyCar debut. He just did one of his first tests at Barber Motorsport Park, which is actually not that far away from me, about an hour and a half or two away from me. Now, his first laps, his series debut comes on April 18th in the IndyCar series. He will only be doing the road and street courses. So that's 12 out of the 17 rounds within IndyCar. They're about 90 laps per race on average. What I would say, though, is he did about 80 laps for this test. 80 laps for this practice session, I should say. And my number one question when he was going into it, and I mean, you could check up on the Twitter, I had reposted his video of his first person view video of him, taking on that on the YouTube and stuff like that. My question was always about how is his conditioning, because, he has taken some time off because he needed it to heal back after the fiery crash that happened in, I believe, Bahrain. But whatever, and it's something that you don't necessarily want to see, obviously. That's something that I wish, never happened, of course. But him going into IndyCar, he had to take that time off to take that break. Does that slow him down at all? Now, if you actually go over the practice, he had a spin out in the first lap. But after that, he was just about pretty much correct. Now, the thing is with the spin out, I would really attribute that to F1 versus IndyCar. It's different aerodynamics. The car, the inputs are different, basically. So I could understand that. It's like trying to hop from, with how these cars are set up, it's like literally trying to hop from a car to a motorcycle sometimes. Like it's kind of in that sense, really. So there's a difference. But of course, it's still it was still kind of the same. You're still driving altogether. So he was able to figure it all out, and he didn't have an issue for the rest of those 79 laps that he did. Now, one thing I did notice is that he said his hands, we all know his hands ended up with a few burns and whatnot, but they weren't actually a limitation. They were not actually a limitation. They were pretty much fine for the entirety of that practice, which is great news. Which means that he could actually, hold up without any problems in IndyCar in an actual race. But my question was still his conditioning. The reason I say that is because he still has to be able to hold that race for that long. And I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. Maybe if he does another test or something like that, I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. But that was my number one question, and he seems to pretty much handled it very beautifully with his practice after that first lap, and he did everything that was necessary. Now, he did state that he felt a little, muscle ache and here and there, but as he went on throughout the race, throughout the practice session, it dissipated. And he was able to actually keep going and keep striving and keep pushing, which is great to hear. I'm glad Romain Grosjean is in great condition. And I'm glad that he will be in IndyCar. I thought that he would be able to go back to F1, but he is not back in F1. He is in the IndyCar series. Woohoo! Which is great for, I don't remember what team he's on. Dale Coyne Racing, sorry. Or Doyle Coyne. I'm pretty sure it's Dale. Dale Coyne Racing. He is on that team for the IndyCar series. I'm just happy that he's, still racing, and I'm happy that he's going to be, continuing to push forward with the racing atmosphere. And it's great to see that he's back on his feet. Obviously, it's great to see. Now, of course, Williams F1 has new racing funds with, the step down of someone with the Williams family name as ownership. And, the new sponsor / owner of Downer Doralton Capital, an American investment company. They definitely can now they're able to work now at the higher level, of the budget caps with the new regulations and whatnot. They're definitely able to work in that higher realm of money. So, I mean, I'm sure that they've put some decent improvements into their cars, to give it that extra push. And maybe now they won't be fighting at the back of the pack, but they'll actually be up in the middle at least. I'm hoping that that's where it puts them this season. I'm expecting to see that. I would love to see that. And of course, it has, a talented driver, George Russell, who showcased, that if he had the machinery, he would perform how he needed to, you know what I'm saying? So if they bring together that aspect, and if they allow some significant improvement in the vehicle, they're no longer going to be at the back of the pack coming in last damn near all the time. They're going to be up there in the middle of the pack pushing for, decent positioning and actually in the fight, relatively, if you get what I'm trying to say. Now, obviously, this is definitely a great thing for Williams. Not a great thing that a family member name had to step down, is no longer a part of the team. But to be great, you got to make sacrifices. And if you wanted the team to be great, if you wanted the team to go out there and really show off the Williams name this year or maybe a few years from now, you had to make sacrifices, and that was a sacrifice that they made. And from there, we're just waiting for the season to start, waiting to see what these guys can do. That's about it for that. Now, like I said, this episode is mainly sticking with Formula One. That was the quick bites out of the way. Now, if we don't know, as Formula One, the 72nd goal of the Formula One World Championship starts on March 28th in the Bahrain International Circuit. And hopefully it doesn't end up like last year. Boring. But there's 22 rounds, and they are no longer tied to just Europe. They are finally, or not, I guess not Europe, but they're no longer tied to just that area. It's finally back into an actual world championship. They will be traveling the entirety of the world, going on tracks and all that kind of good stuff. I could name all of them, but who wants to hear that? But 22 rounds, and of course, the United States GP, October 24th. For my American fans or my American listeners, coming October 24th, the Circuit of the Americas in Texas, and I am going to be attending this one. That's guaranteed. hands down guaranteed I will be there. I hope to find some of y'all there too. I'll definitely be there. Now, of course, we know that drivers and teams, they have their press releases and all that stuff. Drivers and teams having their press days. McLaren had their release, their video day or whatever you want to call it, where Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris spent some time in the cars. Footage was being taken, videos and whatnot, and that was basically when the deliveries were released. Showing the special helmet designs as well as the design of the cars, different things, not only delivery but also slight little nuances that have been changed and all that stuff with on the vehicle itself. Now, of course, team drivers are, a little different now. It's Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll for the new Aston Martin, formerly known as Racing Point. Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris, as I just mentioned, with McLaren, had their amazing reveal day, press release day. And Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen, Red Bull. Now, we already knew Max was already with Red Bull, but Sergio Perez also on Red Bull. I believe it's just for this year. If not this year, then I believe this year, next year. Not 100% sure. But he is with Red Bull for this season. So I am glad that is what we will be seeing. Now, going into my predictions, like I was trying to say earlier, Aston Martin, I'll be honest with you, is going to be my favorite going into the season. I feel like that. Reason I say that, they have the legend, Seb Vettel, first of all. And if you realize, Seb was on Ferrari for the last few seasons. And we understand that Ferrari didn't have what Mercedes had with the power unit and whatnot. But Aston Martin was allowed to utilize said power unit. So that makes me think that Seb is going to be really going up against Hamilton for a majority of this. I think we're going to see maybe something that's different. Something that's different. We're going to see the Aston Martin green against the Mercedes black. And oh my goodness, I want it. I want that battle. I want that battle a lot. Not only because I am a fan of Aston Martin, but that's only because of James Bond, but y'all don't need to know all that. But because that would be definitely a strong race. A strong race to see, a very exciting race to see. I'm sure it's going to be definitely changes of positions and whatnot. So if what I'm thinking is going to be going on with these power units being relatively up to par with each other on some levels and with the talent that both, Lewis and Seb have, I think that they're definitely going to be going toe to toe from time to time. Now, of course, the driver lineup, like I said, with Aston Martin is quite impressive with Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll. Okay, Lance Stroll's season last year was great. He finished in the 11th overall. He secured 2 podiums. Also had pole position in the Turkish GP. So my point here is Lance Stroll is definitely someone who is effective. Someone who can be consistent and getting points for Aston Martin. So I'm glad Lance is a part of that team. I'm glad he's a part of that. And I think that Lance is going to have a breakout season this year. That's what I believe personally. I think he's going to have a breakout season, being that he has, someone as strong a mentor as Seb can be, right? As well as the Aston Martin line backing him. I feel as though he's going to have a breakout season. Absolutely, hands down. I'm saying it now. Now, Seb, his 2020 season was poor, but we know what Seb is capable of. We know he's a multi-winning F1 World Championship. F1 World Champion, sorry. We know that he's capable of doing great things. We know that he's capable of bringing points if he has the necessary machinery. We know what he's capable of, so I'm not doubting that Seb is going to pursue first place, second place, top 3 hands down. Has to. He has to. There's no way. There's no other way. Now, of course, his last season in 2020 was, like I said, poor. Finished in 13th place. His best position was third in Turkey. And he earned 33 points, which was his lowest in his career ever. Now, imagine what he could do with a Mercedes power unit right behind him. Imagine what he could do with that. Oh, I'm seeing great things, man. I can see great things unfolding for this Aston Martin team. They have a legendary Seb Vettel. They have a high potential Lance Stroll if given the right opportunities. Best believe I see something great coming out of Aston Martin. There's no way, shape, or form you can tell me no. You can tell me otherwise. There's no way, shape, or form you can tell me otherwise, because it's clear cut. It's right here, man. Now the cars, like I stated, have the Mercedes power units. Now, one thing I do have a question is, will Aston Martin use their own engines later on in the future? I surely hope so, because everyone with Mercedes power units, that's going to be an issue. McLaren has freaking Mercedes power units this year. If you look at the cars, you can see the outer indents, because the power unit is set up differently, so it's like slightly bigger in that one section. You can see the slight indents over the back, the spine of the car. But I would like to see Aston Martin utilize their own engines and go ahead, and really pursue it in their own right. Now, Aston Martin is the team. Not only do they have these remarkable drivers, but the team itself hasn't been a part of racing for over 60 years. Hasn't been a part of F1 racing for over 60 years. Now, remember, Mercedes had one of these as well. Mercedes had a long hiatus, came back, and yes, they had some development to do, but then they've been dominating F1 racing for a countless amount of years now. That's fact. Now, Aston Martin, I could see, having the same remarkable comeback. The team, that I believe that's what they want. I believe that's what they're going after. That remarkable comeback. They need that. Prove that not only they still got it, but that they belong in F1 for sure. That's what I think is about to happen with Aston Martin. That's why I think they have something to prove. They're going to emulate Mercedes, but they're going to be their own thing. They're going to be their own way. They're going to showcase, a different drive with a comeback. It's like when Jordan left, played baseball, came back, won the championship, won the finals. It's like that. They were great, left, they're coming back, and boy, oh boy, do they want the smoke. It's like that. You know what I'm saying? This is what I expect from Aston Martin. This is what I see from Aston Martin. Let me know what you think, man. Let me know what do you see happening with Aston Martin this year? Knowing that they have these two great drivers, knowing that they have this great car behind them as well, and knowing that they have this team that wants to push all the time behind them as well. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to be done? Let me know. And of course, it's Seb. For one thing, give Seb the right tools. I know fully well he has something to prove of his own. Seb is not going to back down. You understand? I don't know. I'm not necessarily sure why I feel that way, but I feel like he's going to be like, I've been docile for the last few years with Mercedes. I mean, with Ferrari. I'm out of that now. I have this now. Time to show you what I'm really about. I feel like Seb is going to probably lead this Aston Martin comeback. I feel like that's what he's going to do. Obviously, Lance is remarkable as well. So Lance is definitely going to be, up there with him. But I feel like Seb is going to lead it. He's the one that's going to be, putting down the real metal, getting all the points, doing, all the positions and whatnot. And Lance Stroll is just going to back him up. But obviously, things can change with the actual start of the season. So this ain't set in stone. It ain't set in stone. But I would love it. Absolutely love to see it. Now, another prediction that I have, Pierre Gasly. He has been relatively consistent for my personal belief, he has been someone who has stayed within that middle to upper pack range. I'd say from 6th to 10th overall standings. He is someone who has stayed remarkably consistent. And of course, he had a few flawless races last season. Absolutely flawless. Great overtakes. It just wasn't, made the greatest because he wasn't the freaking first. He wasn't the top 5 or whatever. He was, maybe 13th, 14th, making moves. 10th, 9th, making moves, doing these things. And he was definitely remarkable. Pierre Gasly is someone that I see needing way more acknowledgement. And I want to see what he does this season. I'm not saying he's going to be, legendary, first, second, all the time, getting all these podiums, getting all these pole positions. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying he's going to have another consistent career. He's going to have another consistent season, And I feel that that's going to open him up for more opportunities with other teams that may have the drive that he's looking for, the backing that he's looking for. Another thing that I feel as though need to be said, Valtteri Bottas, I don't know how to say this man's last name, but Valtteri needs a remarkable season. Reason why? Because I believe Valtteri could be replaced. In my honest opinion, I don't believe Valtteri is remarkable. Don't get me wrong, he's skilled, very skilled, but I believe that you can put someone else in his seat and get the results that you were looking for. The man was in 7th or 6th place. Going up against, honestly, no one who should have competed with him in some of these races of last year. So he needs a remarkable season. If he doesn't have a remarkable season, I'm almost certain he may be replaced. Obviously, I'm not necessarily sure how long his contract is signed for. That's the one thing. I'm not sure if his contract ends after this season or if they've already signed another contract and now he's extended to 2023 or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, he needs remarkable seasons to showcase that he deserves to be in the spot that he deserves to be in. Because if you have this machinery underneath you, with you, and you cannot carry what the team needs you to carry based off of what you have, based off of what you've done, you're going to get dropped. As simple as that. If you show me that you're capable of this kind of greatness, I need this kind of greatness consistently because I know you're able to do it. But if you're going to give me this greatness in spurts, here, there, and then just an entire section of just nonsense, horrible, just terrible driving, then I think it's time to get rid of you. Yes, you can be remarkable. Yes, you can be great. Yes, you can showcase that you are, that you have the ability to do what I need you to do. But if you're not going to do it consistently, then I don't need you. See what I'm saying? So that's a decision Mercedes has to make dealing with Valtteri. I just think Valtteri needs to understand that he has to put together a top of the line season in order to stay with Mercedes-AMG Racing. That's just my personal go at it. Now, of course, there's other things that go into, F1. Obviously, Kimi Räikkönen will be retiring. I don't know if he's actually going to be retiring. I have a video about that coming out soon. Just a little quick recap of his career. His contract ends at the end of this year, at the end of this season. I'm trying to figure out if he's going to be signing again or if he's just going to be retiring. The man has age on everyone on the field. So I don't necessarily know, but that video will be coming out shortly this week. Later on this week when this video is uploaded. And I don't know, let me know either in the comment section of this video or let me know in that video. It'll be out. That's pretty much it, though. That's pretty much it. I mean, obviously, I could give you way more predictions. Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen, I definitely see that as a great combination. We know that Sergio Perez is definitely talented, and Max, of course, is Max. But I still see them, yes, the RB 16, I believe is what it's called. I believe that it's definitely a car that can give Max Verstappen. It's the RB16B now, right? I believe. Their second generation of that car. I believe Max definitely has a world championship caliber car for sure. His team even believes that. Obviously, they believe that beforehand as well. But through some unreliability things that have happened, wasn't the greatest. And of course, this is the last year for Honda. That's one more thing that we have to. This is the last year that Honda will be in F1. So is Max and Sergio going to be going out with a real, bang for Honda, or are they going to be docile? Are they just going to float by, be passive? Who knows? Obviously, Max is definitely going to go for that championship, of course, because he's Max. And Sergio, I'll be honest with you, he wasn't necessarily consistent in my eyes, because one minute he could be in second place, next minute he could be in 19th. He wasn't necessarily the most consistent in my eyes. Yes, he has had way more races where he's in those higher positions, but he's also had those races where he's been low in positions and he has not been able to come back. Obviously, there was that great race where he literally came back from last to first. That's awesome. But still have that issue of he's not always in position for that first place. So I don't necessarily know, but given the things that I've seen Max be able to do with Red Bull, and I know that Sergio can do if he has that drive, I know fully well that Max and Sergio are going to be a great pairing points wise, and they're going to bring definitely a good bit of points for Red Bull. Now I definitely see that if Aston Martin doesn't do what I think it's going to do with Seb versus Lewis, I don't think that I don't know what I'm trying to say. Hold on. If Seb and Lewis aren't doing what I think they're going to do, then obviously I think that that Mercedes is going to win that Constructors, right? But if they do, then I see either Aston Martin or Mercedes going in at first or second. You know what I'm saying? It's a give or take whether or not what they feel like doing. And then I see Red Bull coming in for that third. But if Lewis and that Seb thing doesn't happen, then I see Red Bull possibly taking that either that second spot or that first spot for that Constructors title and that manufacturer's title, and based off of that points that Sergio and Max Verstappen can actually give them. That's really where I'm at based off predictions and whatnot. Obviously, Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris, that's just great potential. That's just a great bond. Ricciardo is a fun guy. He could be a great mentor to Lando, and them two can really, bond and really race a little bit. And of course, with McLaren having the Mercedes power unit now, they might actually be a significant threat. Lando had a pretty substantial season last year, and Ricciardo also had a pretty substantial season, even though he had the lackluster Renault. So we might see a good season worth of racing. Mercedes may not be at the top of everything right now. Seb now has that same power unit and stuff that Mercedes has. Red Bull is going out with a bang. Red Bull has always been competitive with Max, and Sergio has been relatively competitive as well without any car that could relatively keep up. And of course, there's Seb and Lance Stroll with Aston Martin. This is going to be a pretty decent freaking season. We're not going to be forever seeing Mercedes pole position, Mercedes podium. We're not going to see that. And like I said, Valtteri needs a remarkable season in order to keep his freaking seat. So we're going to see guys really put it down, if I'm being honest. unless they decide to be passive, but they have that choice. Although I don't see that happening, I think we're going to see some great action, some great racing. That's what I hope. Because yes, last season was a relative dry spell action-wise. It had some great races, though. It had some great races, I'm not going to lie at that. But in terms of like 1 or 2 races being the deciding factor between who's going to be champion, who's not going to be world champion, who's going to be manufacturer's title champion, that kind of stuff, it wasn't there. We already knew who the hell was the champion literally like 4 rounds before the damn thing ended. That I want to avoid that this season. I want that to be avoided this season. I don't need that again. The fans don't need that again. And seeing how we're going across the world now, I'm expecting there to be fans allowed on these scenes and to allowed in the stands. There definitely will be in Texas, and that's why I'm going to be there. October 24th for the American fans, and that's going to be on ESPN too. So for the people who can't go, ESPN, everybody got ESPN. Now, of course, the other ones are going to be like on the F1 network and all that stuff that you can watch on the Fox on the Fox networks and stuff like that. It's going to be covered in the U.S. As well. And of course, you know, the people who are in other countries is going to be covered for you guys as well as with however it's going to be covered. But I don't really have that information. But 22 rounds. Cannot wait. March 28th, F1 World Championship is a go. Aston Martin is a go. Pierre Gasly is a go for staying consistent and putting together another consistent season. And of course, there's Lewis, my guy, my dude, my role model. You know what I'm saying? Who I think is going to obviously pull together and do what he does best. Let me know if you hype for this year, man. Let me know if you hype for this season. I certainly am. That's it for me. That's it for the show. That's it for the Tyreek Waldron Motorsports show. If you enjoyed, subscribe to the YouTube channel for way more. If you want to see the video, head on over there. The link will be in the description of the audio version. And if you are watching the video version, the link for the audio version will be in the description. There will be a ton of things in the description for the video version, so head on over there. And if you are watching the audio version, please head on over to YouTube, and you're going to see the greatest things. You're going to be able to see, you know, direct links, all that kind of stuff to all the things that I'm doing. And let me know how you feel about this upcoming 2021 F1 season. Peace.